Another year, a new Revit. It's that time of the year where we are back with this power-packed information to the key new features of Revit MEP 2023. So let's get started. Beginning with the very first feature, that is, the new icons for the views in the project browser is really a great one. So here we have a new look to our project browser where we can see these icons or boxes with the view names. These boxes indicate whether the views are placed on the sheet or no. That is, these filled boxes show that this view is placed on the sheet, whereas these open boxes show that these views are not placed on the sheet. Let us have a live example over here. I'll just activate this sheet and I'll select this view which has an open box with its view name, and I'll drag and drop this view to place on the sheet. Now let us have a look on this icon or box with the view name. As soon as the view is placed on the sheet, we saw that this box is now a filled box showing that this view is placed on the sheet. So this is a new feature in Revit 2023 where we can analyze which views are placed on the sheet and which are yet to be placed. If we have to just go back to the classic mode of the project browser, we can always right-click on the project browser and uncheck this option, that is, Show View Placement on Sheet Status icon. When I uncheck this option, we can see that the project browser looks like we had in the earlier versions of Revit without the icon or without the box, and now we are unable to understand that which view is placed on the sheet. So yes, this is a new feature of Revit 2023 to analyze the views placed on the sheet. Moving on to the second feature, that is, filter schedules by sheet. So here we have an example of a sheet where we see a floor plan and an air terminal schedule placed on the sheet. So here we have a count of 48 air terminals in the schedule, and this is the total count of air terminals placed in the entire project. But here I just need to show the air terminals which are available in this particular floor plan. That means I want to filter the schedule in such a way that I can see only the count of the air terminals which are placed in this floor plan. If I had to do so in the earlier versions of Revit, I had to create duplicates of the air terminal schedules, and then we need to place those air terminal schedules as and when needed on the sheets. But now in Revit 2023, we can just activate the schedule, and then I'll go to the properties, and under properties, I'll click on filter, where we get this option saying filter by sheet. I can click on filter by sheet and I'll say OK. But here in the schedule, we still see the grand total or the total count of air terminals as 48. But when we go to the sheet, this particular schedule is filtered to the count as 36 according to the air terminals which are visible in this floor plan. So this is how we can always filter our elements or categories according to the elements which are placed on the sheet. So this is a great feature in Revit 2023 where we can filter our schedules by sheet. Starting with the next feature, that is feature number 3, measure in 3D views. In the earlier versions of Revit, we could not measure our elements with the measure tool in the 3D views. This option was deactivated if we just switch to the 3D view. So we had to set the work planes, and then we had to measure our elements using the dimension command, and that was quite a long process and which was quite annoying. But now in Revit 2023, we can simply go to measure between two references, which is there in the quick access toolbar, and I can click on this and I'll just come here to any of my objects, click and check the dimension, and also I can orbit my view to get a quite clear visual of that particular dimension. So orbiting gives me a better visual of the dimension and it still stays there, it doesn't go, and I can have my dimensions placed in the 3D views. So again, this is a great feature to measure our elements in the 3D views using this option, that is measure between two references. Now let us talk about the next feature, that is feature number 4, activate controls and dimensions. Here, when I select multiple elements, that is in the previous versions, when we selected multiple elements which were pinned, we could see these pinned icons and temporary dimensions all over. And it was quite difficult for us to understand what elements are selected, and also it could get quite messy. Also, the selection of the elements was quite annoying and time consuming. Now in Revit 2023, we can simply go to the Modify tab, that is I can simply go to the Modify tab, Controls panel, and over here we have a new tool naming Activate Controls and Dimensions. I can deactivate this feature or I can deactivate this tool, and now if I select multiple elements, I can see the elements very clearly even if they are pinned, and we can remove all that clutter which we had in the earlier versions. Now the elements are quite easily visible and we cannot see those pinned icons as this tool is deactivated. It makes a big difference in performance when it comes to large projects. The selection of multiple elements which are pinned becomes quite easy and quick when this tool is deactivated. Moving on to the next feature, that is feature number 5, swap views on sheet. In the earlier versions of Revit, if I had to replace this particular view with a new view, I had to remove this, that is delete this, and then I had to drag and drop the view again. That is, I had to drag the new view and drop it into the sheet. Now in Revit 2023, I can simply select the view, and here in the ribbon, we have this panel naming Positioning and View, where we have a drop down for all the views that are available in this project. I can simply click on the new view, that is I want to just replace this particular view with this view. So I can simply click on the new view and this existing view will be replaced by the new view. So this is quite simple and quick. I can simply select my view, go to the ribbon, click on the drop down and click a new view to replace the existing view. So this is a feature in Revit 2023 to simply swap the views placed on the sheet. Now let us get started with feature number 6, that is new MEP categories. All these years we used to place the plumbing equipments like hot water heaters, domestic water pumps, etc. using the mechanical equipment category. That is, we did not have any separate category for placing the water heaters or maybe the pumps. We used to place them using the option mechanical equipment. But now in Revit 2023, under Systems tab, Plumbing and Piping panel, we have a new tool or a new category naming Plumbing Equipment, which can be used to place the hot water heaters, domestic water pumps and sewage pumps. Also, we can see another new category, that is over here under Systems tab, Mechanical panel. Besides to mechanical equipment, we have mechanical control devices. Even this is a new category introduced in Revit MEP 2023, where this category can be used to place thermostats, CO2 sensors, and humidity stats, etc. So we can load all those families and we can place them using these tools or using these mechanical equipment categories. So yes, these are the new two categories, that is mechanical control device and the plumbing equipment, which can be used to place many elements which we used to place earlier using other categories. Moving on to the next feature, that is feature number 7, maintain systems of demolished elements. In the earlier versions of Revit, when we used to demolish any element, like for example, if I demolish this particular duct, it used to lose all the properties like the system name, the system type, etc. But now in Revit 2023, we can demolish the elements by just keeping all those properties intact. For example, I will just come here to Modify tab and I'll click on Demolish and I'll just click over here and demolish this particular duct. And let's say I'm demolishing this fitting also. Now, when I select this particular duct and check the properties over here, we still have system classification showing supply air, system name showing mechanical SA1, also system type SA, which was not possible in the earlier versions. In the earlier versions, if we would demolish any element like duct, pipe, etc., these systems were shown as undefined or maybe other, etc. They were not showing the system as it was created. Like, right now it is just having the systems intact, but in the earlier versions, this was not possible. So yes, in Revit 2023 now, we can demolish the elements and it has its properties like system classification, system type, name, abbreviation, everything intact. Getting introduced to the next feature, that is feature number 8, that is called circuit number information for electrical equipments. So electrical equipments did not have this parameter earlier named circuit number. Now in the new version of Revit 2023, we have this parameter named circuit number. So this parameter is found in the panels. That is, when we select the panels, we get this parameter naming circuit number. We can tag them. We can tag our panels using the circuit number, and also we can find circuit number in the panel schedules. So yes, this is a new parameter added to the category, that is electrical equipments, naming circuit number. Moving on to the last feature, that is feature number 9, split with gap for MEP elements. So in the earlier versions of Revit, we could not split our elements with gap. We could only split it, like we could only use the split command on our elements. But now in Revit 2023, we can split our elements with a gap. So I can simply go to my Modify tab, and over here we have split with gap, where we can specify the joint gap, and then we can click on our elements and we see a gap over here. So this was not possible in the earlier versions. We could not use this tool, that is split with gap. We could only use the option that is split element. But now we can use this option that is split with gap. We can specify the joint gap, and then we can click on our elements like ducts, pipes, cable trays, etc. and we can split them with a particular gap that is mentioned in the option bar. So yes, this way we can split our elements with a gap as mentioned in the option bar. So that is it for this time. Thank you for watching and hope you get the most out of this release. Please stay tuned for such descriptive content ahead.